So it is 7:04, and I will call this meeting of the Vinal Square Strategic Action Plan Committee to order. So just so you can see in the room, we have Town Manager Paul Cohen, we have Community Development Director Evan Belansky, David Sperry is here for the Trails for All presentation. Ben Ducheney is here as a member of the public. Bill Gillette, House Representative Rodney Elliott, and then online we have Laura Lee, Laurel Lynn Mooring, and Christine Clancy. So I also just want to announce we're recording this meeting on Zoom, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Dave Sperry, who's our guest speaker for the Trails for All discussion, and I can put your slides up too, Dave. Thank you again for joining us.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Let me just find it. It was a PDF, right?
Okay. There's just a cover slide, an outline of my presentation here. We're going to go over what the state's been doing in the past year. We're going to go over some of the characteristics of the trail at Southwell, some details, and then what's going on more region-wise. So we'll go on to the next page. So what's the Trails for All project? This really started last year with the Ely Driscoll administration wanting to change up how trails were rated and made accessible to more people. The Y on the left is actually what kind of brought me in here. I served on the Open Space and Recreation Plan Committee, so I'd done a survey of the trails. And then I destroyed one of my knees this spring. So I became partially disabled. And that's the second bullet under the Ys. That a large part of the older generation is going to have some kind of disabling condition. And I was using the trails to be able to rehabilitate myself and get out there and exercise. Which meant, yes, I could go 100 feet the first time, okay, and then 200 feet, and eventually work it out to the first bench on the Southwell Trail, and that type of thing. So there's a need out there. It's a little different than the usual accessibility, ADA type stuff that we're all used to. And the state set up a working group to try to work through these from the various players that are in this space. And they've met twice, and my notes here are from their second meeting. And it's still a work in progress, but we were able to gather a fair amount of information from that and come to some conclusions. Go ahead to the next slide. So they did a big survey of what people wanted. And when I say people, this would be people with needs beyond the ordinary, just walk in as a 50-year-old. And they didn't ask for paved surfaces all the time. They just want something firm and stable, have some nature under the foot. They wanted a wide trail. A lot of times you need a helper to help you along, or you're going to go social and walk with a group of people. The Southwell trails are reasonably good in this respect. So you can see the various ideas people came up with. Some people wanted trails lit at night. Not going to happen here. I can understand the need for bike-free trails after getting almost run over on a rail trail. I've had to use the rest benches. Our signage is, on the trails, is way behind what the standards are, but that's something we can work on over the winter. The other aspect was they wanted the environment, they wanted nature. They wanted sites of water. They didn't want lots of noise, a lot of traffic, and they wanted it relatively close. And a number of people wanted public transportation to the spots because one person had epilepsy, so she couldn't drive, but could walk all the various trails. But a lot of trails in the state don't have addresses, so you can't Uber to them.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The town, Chelmsford is really good that way because the fire department's gone through, for safety reasons, and given addresses to most of the trailheads. So if we go on to the next slide, the top barriers to preventing all this from happening, and we'll see this further on, is these kind of trails for accessibility require regular maintenance. You're gonna get invasives growing in, you're gonna have the surface wash out, you're gonna have roots pop up, and you need people to do that. Sometimes the trailheads have rocks in front of them that were originally put there intentionally to prevent ATVs from going in. Also prevents a wheelchair or somebody on a scooter or make it even difficult for somebody on crutches to get in. So I know Concom is looking to change it on their trails. The South Road trails aren't such a problem here. And then people not knowing what's out there, okay? This committee didn't know the status of the trails, okay? So there's information going out to figure out really how we want to advertise these things. Then the last thing that came up was long-term stewardship. There's always funding to go build this brand new fancy trail, but there's rarely funding or manpower to maintain it over time.
Of course.
And so best you can do around here is volunteers to do it. Some volunteers have bought specialized equipment to help maintain the trails. That was the gist of their meeting. The working group is going to draft the standards, probably come out in the spring, of how they want to have the signage done and what the state standards for labeling things are. Right now, the interim standard is the next page. And this is the guidance for 2024. When you have a trail that's heavily used, it's not going to be ADA compliant, but you want to be upfront with how big of a hill it's going to be that they have to navigate, which is fine because some people want a challenge. And sometimes you get mobility devices that will go pretty far and up pretty good terrain. So this gives an introduction to the types of graphics and icons we need to start posting on the trails. For Southwell, the only real big problem is the maintenance. Let me dive into that on the next slide. Sorry about the eye chart here.
That's okay.
So in the upper right is the river trail, the trail that runs along the river, and we've got the nature trail in the lower right. The closest bus stop, which is what the state's concerned about for public transportation, is listed in the lower left. And there's no real sidewalk to get to the trailheads from there. That's just a fact. I don't know how many people would actually take a bus to get there, a little bus. But the experiential quality is actually quite good down there. You've got good wildlife viewing, lots of water views, lots of fishing, almost nearly flat trails, except for a little hill on the nature trail. But a bigger problem with vegetation overgrowth. The area that's the biggest problem right now is down by the ball fields and the river trail. We can go on to the next slide. So in the past, we've had Steve Mayotte, North Chelmsford person, start rebuilding the river trail. And this one shows us laying down riprap on the sides where there's a big mud puddle and would be unwalkable, and then putting stone dust down in the middle of it. He actually built a specialized dump wagon to be able to carry the stuff in there and lay it down. And he specifically built it to go on to be able to cross the bridge that's on the nature trail. It's exactly just wide enough to go over that bridge to service the nature trail. And there are also similar efforts going on elsewhere in the town where the trails are pretty close to being reasonably accessible. But again, like usual, there's more projects out there than there are volunteers to do them. We can go on to the next slide if you don't have any questions. So here's the nature trail. The trailhead, yes, it's overgrown a bit, but it's very passable. It's like walking on a lawn. It could be resurfaced. Heading up the little hill that's there, it's washed out. That's again just a day's worth of work for the crew to go in and fix. And then at the very end of the trail, a group has gone in there and fixed up the table and made it accessible and all that. It's actually used quite often. As you can see on the right there was a outdoor classroom being held one time when I was there. And the students had to draw and talk about what they saw out in the trail. And one of the questions they asked me was, what does poison ivy look like? That took me back a little bit. Okay. So I pointed it out to them. And they're very kind to let me take a picture, and I told them, just look away from me and point into the woods so I can get back to heads.
What age group was it? How old were they?
They were all elementary school. From one of the local small schools in North Chelmsford. But I've seen Innovation Academy buses there. I've seen various group home buses there during the week. Again, it's a nice trail to be able to, it's confined on the side, so you can take a small group in there and get them into the outdoors, yet stay safe.
How often do you find a bunch of beer cans by that picnic table?
Maybe it's actually gotten a lot better. Actual beer cans, I haven't seen any in a couple of months. Okay, it's typically the water bottle, plastic water bottle, or a Gatorade. It's not unusual to see hikers or even bicyclers just having a rest stop there because it looks out over the river and it's nice and quiet.
When you said that, like the first trail you talked about, you said it could be resurfaced. What do you resurface the trail with?
Typically a mix of gravel and stone dust. Technically, with the new regulations, you don't have to do that. You just have to say that it's a natural surface that's hard and packed. But since this was built in 1999, with the idea of being accessible, it'd probably be wise to try to do some restoration of the trail. And the town's been very good about supplying material. In the previous slide, the material you saw was supplied by the town.
Yeah.
And just putting 2 piles in the back parking lot, and we took from that and towed it in. And the other thing I see is a lot of people fishing, some dog walking. They're much better here about picking up the dog poop than they are in Russell Mill. Though Russell Mill's gotten a lot better since their garbage can has been put there. We were seeing 10 to 15 bags at Russell Mill per day. And here, maybe 1 a week. And then,
Is that a result of just pure foot traffic? Is there just more people at Russell Mill maybe?
I think just raw foot traffic and more dogs. Because for the softball itself, well, they don't like the dogs running on the fields. So the 2 trails aren't very, very long. So you basically get walkers from Wellman Ave. You don't have people driving there to walk their dogs for the most part. So this is in your neighborhood. Any questions or thoughts at this point? So I can get feedback of what we're thinking here.
I mean, I think it's a great asset. What is the ask?
What does the area want? Okay, we've been kind of just doing this, Steve and myself and a few other people, just on our own.
Thank you.
Going in there and this year we're keeping the growth back to the specifications called out by the state. But that's just going in there every couple of weeks with lawnmowers and edge trimmers and cutters to cut things back. The bigger ask would probably be, what does the area want done with the river trail? It's in worse shape. We can go on to the next slide for that. Yep. Go on to the next slide. It's actually the next slide.
Yeah.
So the river trail goes along.
Can I just pause for a moment?
Sure.
Does anybody on Zoom have a comment at this point before we go to the river trail?
No, just thank you for doing this. I think it's great. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
The river trail has been maintained, but not to the same level as the nature trail. Mostly because we're trying to keep the nature trail good for kids. Okay, if they're gonna use it for learning, it should be set up for learning. The river trail is more for the dog walkers and the casual walkers and the people fishing. But it has actually ceased to exist down by the lower right ball field. All the vegetation is completely grown over the trail and pushed the trail out into the outfield. So you really can't use the trail during a ball game. That we would need to work with the town to get permission to say, where should the trail really go if we're going to restore it?
Sure.
Okay. We don't want to go in on our own and just hack things to death and restore it without everybody being on board.
Be okay with me, but I can't put that in the minutes.
You gotta speak up, Bill.
Didn't want in the minutes.
Again, this has been going on for years. It's not an emergency. It's what does the community want there and the priorities. It's quite walkable now, but could use some enhancements.
Paul, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I
I mean,
said,
you said you would need town support
Yeah.
to clear it.
yeah, I mean, and I would really involve the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
Dave Williamson, and, you know, and obviously the DPW would weigh in, but that's, like I said, we have no concerns.
It takes more than just our eyes to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's when we step back and say, yeah, let's bring in the rest of the people and say, how do we do this here?
But how does that work, Dave? Would the Trails for All group go to the Conservation Commission, or does it have to be like?
Right now, it's individual,
DPW go, or?
individual residents
Okay,
or group residents. The Trails for All is a statewide organization or initiative.
well, I meant like the local guy, like you guys. You're not part of Trails for All technically.
Technically, no,
Okay.
even
Yeah, the
though
Trails
I've attended all the
working group.
meetings and the working group.
Is there a benefit to being part of Trails for All?
Not at this point, I don't think.
No grants available or anything like that?
Money's been tight that way for this type of thing.
So let me rephrase my question. Would the local Trails working group lead and coordinate whatever needed to be done to go to the Conservation
Yeah.
Commission? Okay,
And it may actually be partly the Conservation Commission trying to wrap everything together.
yeah,
The Conservation Commission kind of adopted this trail a little bit,
okay,
just because it is one of the more accessible trails in town. And a number of Conservation Commission people volunteered. You probably saw them in the pictures there when we were doing trail restoration.
Do these trails flood? Do they have a flood zone?
The question is, do they have a flood zone?
Yes. The ball fields are in the flood zone.
Do they flood regularly, or is it just a 50-year, 100-year? Depends.
It's been over a decade since the
So
last major flooding.
2006, yeah, 20 years, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I think it depends on how the ice breaks up on the Merrimack.
I
and
can
how much
speak from
rain.
the state perspective. I mean, you're right. I mean, there's such a demand for trail funding, but the fiscal Healy administration is very supportive, and I can look into some programs where, albeit it may be small pieces of funding, but, you know, it's worth taking a look to see if, you know, if presumably, I guess it would be the town that would apply,
Right.
unless there's another nonprofit. I know there's been some pretty good money for the Nashua River watershed over the last couple of years through Senator Kennedy, so we can get Senator Barrett on board and at least take a look at it. So.
And that might
Thank
tie into the bigger picture this group would be doing is the boat ramp there and
Well,
connecting
yeah,
things
that's
up and.
Yeah.
That's the big number one ask, I will say now that we get the license, so, and we've been in conversations with the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, and, you know, they don't have a lot of capital money, but, it just has to be appropriated, and, now that we have the license, that's what we'll go after that.
Would it be appropriate, or would it help if I would copy you, like contacted Carl Bischoff and just said, like, we reviewed this with you, and just so you know, this committee is supportive of.
He's already reviewed this once.
No, but that the committee is supportive
okay.
of trying to enhance the condition of the river trail.
Oh, sure, yeah, just so that formally it's been,
Right,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, Laura, Lynn, are you okay with that? Yeah, I see Laura's mentioning.
yeah, it's been unofficially adopted,
Right,
but it can be a little more official.
No, I'm happy to do that.
Do we need to take any kind of a formal vote to support it? No, I'm good.
I don't feel the need to unless you want to.
I'm very supportive as well, so I don't think so.
Okay.
You want the next slide, or?
Yeah, sure. The next slide is just kind of showing what's going on in the area. NMCOG is actually doing regional trail mapping. And I'm just pointing out here the other trails that are in the area, proximity wise. You've got Oak Hill and Deep Brook with a section of trail that is not going to be published because we don't own the land there yet or don't have permission to go over that land.
Where is that specifically?
Okay, between Oak Hill and Deep Brook, you'll see
It's
a
black.
red line with black dots. That's a trail that is not supposed to be there. And I think it's blocked off at this point. And if you look at the official NEMCOG maps that are online, that trail will not be there. And then there are a number of trails down by the dam for Freeman Lake, where the spillway is. That Concom may at some point want to try to expand. But the trails that I'm showing here have no really good access for accessibility. Oak Hill is a long walk to get to something interesting, and Deep Brook is a hole in the woods as far as parking goes, along with no sidewalks, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that was just to give the perspective. And then last thing is,
Your point is that while those are bigger, longer trails, it's probably better off looking at Southwell because of the accessibility and things like that.
from a Trails for All point of view, yes. The Southwell is one of the more important ones in town. It's gonna be a different type of person that uses the Deep Brook or the Oak Hill. Your trail runners wanna use Oak Hill. Where the guys with the blown out knees like me, are gonna do the simpler trails. So I think we've actually gone through the questions. So any other questions or thoughts, feedback?
No, just to echo what Laura said. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
These are great assets.
Excuse me. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you lose sound as well?
Yes, remote,
Yes,
we've
I
lost sound. Sorry. Thank you.
I just alerted them. I
I
lost
hear
it
you
too.
now.
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Can you start again?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
My name's Ben DeShaney. I started the North Chelmsford Community Alliance group last week. So as I said, we're brand new. But I started that to essentially, be a stopgap or fill the gaps of this meeting, this group, while you guys are doing more like heavy infrastructure, I know you're doing the strategic action plan with like the road changes. If we could, fill gaps with like volunteers for the trailheads or other things that are smaller or faster, short-term projects, that's where I want to try and plug in and help as much as we can.
What gaps are you seeing?
Well, I mean, I only saw the 2015 strategic action plan and read through that. I didn't know this meeting was happening until 2 days ago, when I started sending messages to people, such as yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm here tonight basically to just be a fly on the wall and soak up what you are doing, and then we'll jump in from there basically.
And Bill can speak to this too, but this committee has traditionally had a lot of very active subcommittees as well to do some of the things I think that you were talking about.
Okay.
So it would make a lot of sense to stay closely coordinated because a lot of the description that you had is actually the charter of what we're doing here, and some of it you can't do without the support of the town staff.
For sure.
And this is where that happens,
Yep.
so.
Yep.
Honestly, we were confused when we saw that because we didn't know that you were even thinking about it.
Yeah, to be honest, I wrote that mission statement was created before I knew that this meeting was happening, and that, I thought the 2015
It looked
action
like
plan.
it was straight out of our plan.
Maybe it was pieces of, because I use that in drafting, the mission statement. The 2015 action plan was the only thing I could find online, so I thought maybe this didn't exist anymore. So that's why I created.
That the committee didn't exist?
That there was no plan, there was no ongoing plan. I thought there was a 2015 plan, and I couldn't find a newer plan, from since 2015.
Right, so this committee is focusing on execution of the 2015 plan. And we have actually had some very intentional discussions about all the recommendations in that plan and where we're going next with them. And we've talked specifically about the timing of potentially updating that plan, which we're gonna be taking a closer look at probably after the new year of how does all of the current activity lay out on a timeline, and where's the heavy lifting and what would be the right and appropriate time to update that plan.
Great.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Yeah, like I said, I'm here to, see what's happening, and then if there's a need or if there's a committee that I can join or volunteers that I can. My background, what I do for a job is I build websites, and I am a marketer, so I can use those skills, to drum up awareness, for trailheads, for.
The website looked good.
Thanks. So, whatever I can do in that sort of vein is where I was gonna lend my skills.
So from my perspective, I think it's wonderful that you want to get involved. I think Virginia's right. Over the course of time, we've had a number of subcommittees, beautification committees, fundraising committees. But we've done things where it's the holiday decorating time, right? Or it was Varney Park movie night. The cleanup down at Southwell, right, with the costs and everything else. If we can leverage this as a subcommittee that could go out, just given the fact that you're of a younger generation anyway than I am, and if you're interacting with individuals around the North Chelmsford community to engage them, that'd be wonderful. That's the hardest part of anything, is just engaging people and getting the volunteers to do this stuff.
Right.
I guess, Paul or Evan, from your perspective, what would you like to see? Is it, I know we can't tell people what to do, but I guess what I'm asking is it better to have alignment, especially the way your description was written, which requires all staff to make happen? Is it better to have some kind of alignment with this committee, or have Ben join this committee, or I don't know what this alliance is, it's still not
I
clear
mean,
to me, or what gaps you're
Just
trying to fill.
to be completely honest, as I said, I only started this last week before I knew that this was happening.
Okay,
So I started that thinking that there was a bigger hole
I
than there
see.
is. You know, and as I said, I build websites and I'm a marketer, I also have 2 small kids. So I haven't paid very much attention to it since.
yeah,
So I created it and then I found this meeting. That's the 2 steps that have happened so far. You know what I
okay,
mean?
My suggestion would be, ideally, you pause the alliance stuff, commit to participating in this forum, this committee. And then maybe we can coordinate outreach efforts, maybe you could spearhead that. The committee has an existing Facebook page. So as you're hearing, the committee is looking for active members, people who want to volunteer but not necessarily be a member of the committee. Volunteerism is a wide spectrum of activities. I think the committee is open to any new ideas, fresh new ideas. And then just engaging the North Chelmsford community at large. So you likely have a personal and professional interest in a lot of those activities that some committee members don't have the time or bandwidth to focus on as much as you may. But I think what my understanding is, if you're interested in participating in the committee and coming to the meetings, the committee will find a place for you, just like they do anybody else who expresses an interest.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds, how often does this committee meet?
it's roughly once a month, we're not meeting in October because of town meeting and other things.
Yeah.
The schedule is at the bottom of our agenda.
Okay.
And if you're also welcome to join by Zoom, I send the Zoom link out to people that want it.
Okay.
I don't put it on the agenda because we've had issues with Zoom running in town.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to join in person or on Zoom if that's easier for you, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, that sounds great. Sounds great.
Okay.
We'd love it, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I think I've been on this committee probably with Bill for about 15 years. And, I'm just a neighbor in the neighborhood, and I got involved because the North Town Hall that's right in the center, and it was really kind of decaying away. And there was an opportunity to go and do something. So now we run it as a community center. We're also looking for volunteers. But I had no idea that you could really step in and work with the town and make something happen in your community. I never understood how that happened. And I will tell you, the past 15 years have been very rewarding for me. You can really get a lot done when you work with the town. So I really hope you'll think about joining us. It's exciting and there's a lot of opportunity to improve this final square area. And there's a lot of neighbors that are interested in it, but we need to grow the group. So I hope you join us.
The project's goals required.
Sorry, that's falling off on the.
Has it really been 15 years?
If you wanna write.
I think it's been about that, Bill. It's been a long time.
You borrow a pen, but yeah.
Thanks for aging me tonight.
Me too.
Of course.
Okay,
Oh, I forgot about that.
what'd you say, Paul?
Yeah, it's kind of about that when you take the timeline of the town hall renovations, it's been about 15 years.
Just aging, you're just aging me, reminding me of how old I am.
If we're okay with that conversation for now, I'm gonna move on to the agenda. And we'll pick up the pace here, given the hour. First up, we have approval of minutes. I believe we have the June 9th and the August 25th minutes. Are there any amendments to either sets of those?
I don't know any.
Okay, if not, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes of the June 9th and August
25th.
25th, I was gonna say second. Minutes.
I'll second.
Laura seconds. I have to take a roll call because we're on Zoom. Bill?
Aye.
Laura?
Aye.
Laura Lynn?
You're on mute.
Yes, yes, I agree. Yes.
And I'm an aye. I don't know if I said this, I do know that the two members who aren't here had some business travel commitments this evening. Okay, so the next agenda item, Evan and I wanted to talk about the committee business representative and business outreach. I put that flyer together that I shared with you guys, and I put it out on Facebook, and if you know of people, you can use that to send it out. Some of the things that Evan and I have been doing, and we're getting ready to kind of push the launch button, that we wanted to run this by you. Do you wanna speak to this?
No, please.
Okay, so, in terms of business outreach and in parallel, also looking for a business representative, we have the property listing for North Chelmsford, the village areas. We identified certain streets, and Paul helped get us the assessor's database property listings for that. Evan and I worked with the clerk's office to give them, to ask them for businesses that had registered, what do we call them? Business certificates with the town. So we have the database of active business certificates from the clerk's office, and we can pull the different streets from North Chelmsford that have active businesses off of that to get business names associated with addresses. The issue with the assessor's database is that you're going to get the list of property owners, not necessarily the business owner who's residing in the property. So there's two pieces. One is we can do outreach to the property owners. In parallel, for businesses that do have a business certificate, we can do outreach to them. And if they're a larger corporation, they're not required to have a certificate, so they might not even show up in the database, depending how they're registered with the state. And then the third thing is to do more guerrilla outreach. Do a direct mailing or walk around and distribute communication. And so the thing that Evan and I talked about was taking that flyer I created, putting some words around it about who the committee is, that we're looking to get as many businesses aware of what we're doing, ask them to follow the Facebook page, invite them to the businesses, and also to communicate that we are also looking for a business representative appointed to this committee. And so those are the three things we were looking at doing. Do you want to add anything, Evan?
No, I think you covered it very well.
Does that make sense to people?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
And if we get to the point where we have to like physically deliver things, which I'm hoping we won't have to do that, I may ask for some help with that,
Of course.
just walking around. The other thing that Evan pointed out is that like in the mill buildings, the town has a very good relationship with the property owners, and we could probably email them and ask them to share that information electronically with all of their tenants in those mills. So,
Assuming they have email addresses of all those tenants.
Well, then you could just short walk.
They might not be as technical as you think.
Mailbox?
so if
Exactly.
everybody's okay with that, I will continue to work with Evan on that between now and our next meeting on November 10th. Okay?
Sounds good. Yep.
It was a really good flyer, by the way. Thanks for doing that.
No worries. The next agenda item, I'm not putting the agenda up on the screen because I'd rather see people's faces. The next agenda item is the committee's beautification fund. So Evan and I wanted to bring this forward also for ideas, and maybe some of this will resolve itself with the business outreach that we're doing. Right now, we have about, is it $5,600?
Yes.
We have about $5,600 in the committee's beautification fund. If we start taking money out of that for the planters in the spring or some of the other ideas that the committee has, right now there is no means in place of replenishing that money. The way that the fund used to get replenished is Kenny Pentuso put like a tin can out on his countertop at the liquor store, and people would put money in, and he just kept collecting money, and it would go into the account, and it accumulated to $5,000. So we're looking for either ideas, or do we know of businesses now that we know closely that might be willing to do something similar, or how do we want, let's just like people to start thinking about how do we replenish that fund, especially as I think we're going to start spending from it with some of the ideas that the committee has had.
will likely have some excess in the clock that sits with the North Chelmsford Village Association. But as we've discussed, what could that pocket park be like in the future? I guess we just have to figure out as a committee, I don't care, where we want the funds to go, where it would be best. Because Brian he's not on, right?
Yeah.
No,
He sent out an email to John Salyards, who is the treasurer for North Chelmsford Village Association, because he wants to go order some wreaths. And I think it amounted to it wasn't a couple $100. Yeah.
Okay. So that's getting funded through your nonprofit?
I don't know if the whole thing is. That's why I was hoping Brian would give us an update.
It's okay for the purposes of this meeting, but do you want to add anything, Evan?
So the beautification account has been used for primarily the annual planter program, the annuals that Janet Murphy, on behalf of the committee, coordinates with Mahoney's each spring planting, and works with DPW to physically get those planters out on the sidewalks. Then a good example is Water Brigade. This is a very low-hanging fruit example. You've seen the planters on the sidewalks. Over the years, the committee, again, 15 years in the making, has had water brigades and tried to get businesses and residents to assist as well. Just a very simple example. The beautification account, I believe, has also been used in the past to purchase the arborvitaes around the common that are in the planters. So that's primarily what the beautification account has been used for. And it sounds like the actual holiday decorating, buying of lights and wreaths is coming from a different source of money.
Yeah, so Brian says that he got it pretty specific, $1,333 in the holiday decorating fund.
Is that a North Chelmsford specific holiday decorating fund?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. So that's what lead me on. I don't know.
excuse me, I have a
No, I
quick
can-
question.
Okay.
Laura, go ahead. I'll ask my question.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say that fund, what we're doing, it's monies that's coming in for the Vinyl Square Committee. And we're holding it in a nonprofit that we set up, the North Chelmsford Village Association, which has other funds. So we're just kind of putting donations that we receive for our committee into that.
For what committee?
I believe it was because I know a lot of it has come from donations, and they needed to be a nonprofit status, and we have
Okay.
the nonprofit status. So John, who maintains that account, keeps a running tally of what
Right.
belongs to North
So at
Chelmsford
this point,
Village, what's finance.
if this committee, the holiday decorating subcommittee of this committee is looking for money, they're going to this nonprofit.
I don't know. Let me just read you what Brian said. I have enough funds to cover the cost of the wreaths from the donations currently in the NCBA account and funds in the town's holiday decorating fund account. $1,333.
Let's get clarification
Yeah, we'll
from
find out what the holiday.
Brian.
fund
I
is
had thought over the years there was a town funding source.
For the holidays.
Yeah, it's clearly
Remember
separate.
Billy
It might be
Latender
separate
and
from us.
I do remember like Billy Latender and stuff put money in and asked it to be like
Okay, we'll get
a
clarification.
memo account for.
Laura Lynn had something to catch that.
Oh, you know what? I just wanted Evan to clarify for me. You had said that the beautification fund can be used for the planter program, and then you said in also purchasing something in the planters. What was that piece that we can use it for?
So the annual, the white planters that are down near the commercial area,
Okay.
every year Mahoney's plants those with the annuals, and that cost comes out of the beautification account. It's usually no more than like $300 to $400.
But then we've also, at our last meeting or 2 meetings ago, we talked about Evan and Christine were gonna look into potentially hiring people to help us with
Water,
watering,
yeah,
so
water
like that's
program.
gonna have to come out of that, so we're gonna need to think about how we replenish that fund.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm just.
And I'm gonna, maybe we can revisit this after we do the business outreach.
Yeah, and on replenishing, while historically, the business rep to the committee, Kenny, had the donation can, I think it's important to note that any business
Could do
can
it,
do the donation.
right.
And not be an official member of the committee.
That's what I'm thinking, we could just ask some of the local businesses, can we put this, we can brand a can or something
Correct,
and ask them,
exactly.
can we put this on your countertop?
Yep.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing else on that for now, I'm gonna move on.
Email sent.
So the next one was the fall town meeting warrant articles. I'm gonna just share my screen. The committee at one point asked if we could do some formal voting on relevant fall town meeting warrant articles. So what this means is, basically when they're up for vote at town meeting, I'm assuming I'll be there, if not, Bill can do it. We'll get up to the microphone and just say the committee voted on this and recommends approval or whatever our vote is. Okay, so the first one was Article 7. Paul or Christine, I don't know if you wanna just quickly explain what this is.
Go ahead, Christine.
Sure. So this is $300,000, seeking $300,000 to advance the design of Vinyl Square and also the design of the other project, the development between on Route 3A between Richardson Road and Technology Drive. Vinyl Square 25% plans have been submitted. They're in review by the state, so we still have to go through a 25% process in that they have to, if there's any comments, there's minor adjustments there. Really, that the large cost there is a utility survey is required by Mass DOT now, before you advance past the 25% design. So there's additional funding needed to support that effort. And then the other project is for the Route 3A reconstruction. We did advance some of the 25% design, really the initial data gathering, the traffic analysis, the survey, but to really fulfill that 25% design, additional funding is needed as well. Vinyl Square intersection project that is on the tip for FY28, is based on the current progress and where we are with the 25% design. The Route 3A project is currently not on the tip, but potentially could be funded after FY30. And so this would really, I guess, this would continue the advancement of these projects towards FY28 for Vinyl Square, and hopefully FY30 or after FY30 for the other section of the project. Both these projects too are going through the full Mass DOT design required with the tip, so full sidewalks, a designated bike lane, intersection improvements, and the whole process to get through that Mass DOT approval. And this just shows the location. Vinyl Square is that first project, and then the second piece is the between just north of Richardson Road and then to Technology Drive.
So this is money to support the projects we've already been tracking and supporting.
Yes.
So I wrote a possible motion there. If this committee wants to take a formal vote to recommend support, someone could make a motion or you could make a different motion. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, Rodney wants.
Rodney wants to say something.
Christine, so July 8th, we had the public hearing, that was very well attended. There's been a couple of residents that have reached out to Mass DOT, particular Mr. Zaharoulis. Are you tied into those conversations because there is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the July 8th was a very preliminary input session. We do have a call this Thursday to talk with Mass DOT just to understand the funding moving forward, because it is very much our project, but it is their right of way too. So just to advance and just really kind of come up with a more definitive timeline and understanding about the overall costs. Also, as many might know, I guess the Mass DOT approval process has evolved over the years in terms of the ICE analysis. It's when you do intersection control analysis. evaluation. There's just been new steps added along the way. This utility site review, which requires the tracing and it is costly. That's a brand new requirement. So we just want to understand like what the cost to get to construction.
And the 300,000 is gonna meet the obligation in order to progress this past the 25% design.
So part of it, yes, part of it. We're just getting in cost too. So there actually there could be a little cost, but this would go towards that project. Yes,
Okay.
basically to help fulfill that 25%. And the utility review, I guess that's the piece that we're still discussing with Mass DOT. But yeah, $300,000 would go toward those efforts.
Yeah, so being polite, Mass DOT is asking the town to do a utility view on utilities in their right of way.
Is that a normal protocol?
No, this is a new protocol, which is quite costly.
Wow.
Yes, I mean we're talking over
Can you give me an
$100,000 just
estimate of what that
for
is?
final.
'Cause that's gonna be a non-starter for
I mean,
all new projects, right?
And it's not like they're picking on Chelmsford, I mean, this
No.
seems to be the thing, and it's like, I don't know how communities are gonna get again, this is not a town roadway, this is a state right of way.
100%.
And they're asking us to do a utility view on utilities that that are in their roadway, which obviously we don't permit, we don't license, we don't do anything. But they're saying that that's an essential thing before we can get their approval on a 25% design.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's costly.
Okay, I'll catch up with you privately.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah, I can talk to you. I have some information on that too.
Okay,
We better reach out to DOT.
thank you, Ron.
You're welcome.
So, committee members, does someone like to make a motion?
I would be happy to make a motion to accept your motion.
No, just say I move now.
You want me to read what's on there?
Yes.
All right. I move that the Vinyl V-SPAC recommends support of Article 7 to the 2025 Fall Town Meeting representatives.
I second.
Laura seconds, roll call, Laura,
I.
Berlin,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, the next one was the parking lot lease. Paul, you've explained this before, you wanna just give a quick refresh?
Yeah, the town owns, probably the easiest thing is to show the map. The one to keep on one website.
This one?
Yeah, in Vinal Square there, the municipal parking lot that's across from Rosie's that everyone's familiar with, which is, I tried to highlight in yellow, the town owns that. The one in the pink, maroon, magenta, whatever it is in the back, the town has a lease that a 30-year lease that expires in 2026, next April. And therefore, we are seeking to renew it, but because it's a lease for more than 5 years, we need town meeting authorization to authorize the town enter into a lease agreement. The new owner is gonna keep the dollar for the lease term agreement for the 30-year period. And so that's our request.
I didn't realize that we actually own the front part of that.
Oh, yeah, we own the front
Oh, that's
part.
fantastic.
Yeah, the town has always owned it. It's not like we've got a little sign saying entry town,
Yeah.
but that's the request there, so because, in order to conform to state law, we need town meeting authorization to enter into a lease for 30 years, even though it's only for $1.
How long was the last lease?
30 years.
Okay. Oh, that's a long time.
Paul, where is that parking lot that we're leasing?
Right behind the municipal lot, it's in the center, so the one that you see across from Rosie's, the front portion is town owned. When you go in the back, it's owned,
The martial arts place
the
is
martial arts
there.
place. Yeah, exactly, that's private.
The martial arts place is on one side, the dry cleaner's on the other side.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So the back, like behind the Alpha Taekwondo, that's
Yeah.
where we're leasing that? But
Yes.
in front of it, the town owns it.
Right,
Correct.
so as part of the lease, the town obviously does snow removal, that sort of thing, because, that's what we would do, because we want, the purpose is to provide parking for Vinyl Square, so that's the benefit, and obviously, it works well for the property owner, because you're bringing people in.
Well, and if we can ever get that tenant in that home to
Yeah,
get
to get through to Water Street, yeah.
the road,
Okay,
I think he would be in, he'd be
do I have a
favorable.
motion?
Sure. I move that the Vinyl Square Strategic Action Plan Committee recommend support of Article 14 to the 2025 Fall Town Meeting representatives.
I second.
Roll call, Laura,
Aye.
Laura Lynn,
I,
Bill,
Aye.
and I. Okay, and the last one is the CV Light Planning Board recommendations. So if you recall, we had the planning board chair, Chris LaValle, here back in July when he explained what the planning board was trying to do, gave us kind of the details of what the CV Light zoning would be at that time. I'm sure it's gone through some tweaks and refinements since then. And rather than trying to come up to speed on like all the details of the articles, my thought was that it would be very helpful to the planning board if we're in support of establishing a CV light zone for future potential application to the North Village to help mitigate zoning conflicts, that we motion that I can convey our support of establishing the district versus support of voting on specific warrant articles, if that makes sense to everybody.
I think I always appreciate Mike's perspectives on these, to be honest.
Mike who? Walsh? Mike Walsh said in the meeting and said you guys have done a great job on this.
Okay.
So,
If he would be supportive and all that, then I'm good.
yeah. So instead of voting on the warrant articles, which I don't think that we are cognizant enough as a committee to do, and it would probably take another 2 hours based on the other briefings I've been watching. My recommendation is that you vote that I can convey the support that the committee expressed for establishing the CV Light when we were informed of it in July and how it might apply to North Chelmsford. So if you want, you can say so moved.
Any other questions from the committee though before
no.
okay, so move.
Okay, so moved. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, roll call. Laura,
Aye.
Laura Lynn,
I,
Bill,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, next up we had just a quick review of the action items from the VSAP committee, the 2015 plan recommendations that we went through at our last meeting. And let me just, sorry. Okay. There's just a few in here that I highlighted in yellow to report back on the action item status.
And this is what you had seen and we were going through an update for James.
So the first set, Laura, this was all about you with all the historical commission related ones. There's a few on this page and one on the next, I think.
Yes.
Do you want to go ahead and just let us know where you're at with this?
Yes, I can't recall if I sent the information. I did reach out to the committee, and got a response back on which ones they wanted to keep in the document. Did I send an email on that or?
I don't recall receiving anything, no.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so the signage they want to keep on, they do that, about 8 to
Okay.
10 a year. So I'm gonna do it, let's see.
All right, can we take these like, because the first one was the document, the historic resources within the study area.
Previously deemed
This-
historic.
The second one was the signage.
I don't know that she didn't really respond to directly to that one. We kind of combined it together. I view this as house sign. She reviewed the historical resources as house signs. Why don't we leave that on for now? We might want to rewrite it later. So let's leave those first two on right now. Bottom line, I have some direct stuff from them, but I'm going to go to one of their meetings. It won't be in October. I'm hoping November. and kind of talk to them in more detail. So let's
Okay,
leave.
so would you rather just postpone this till you can have
Yeah,
have a
maybe, because I'm
conversation
feeling
with them?
disorganized. I'm sorry. I thought I had already sent it to the
No,
team.
that's fine.
That would be great, but I have
It's
taken action. I've got a first step response and I will follow up further. That's bottom line.
right, it's good to know that it's moving.
Yep.
That one we did, the trail working group. And then, Bill, you were gonna check back in on this one. I'm sorry, before Bill, the one that says, there was a past quarterly newsletter. This one right here. So I did talk to Paul about potentially putting, updates from the committee in the town manager newsletter as opposed to us creating our own. And Paul's very receptive to doing that. And in fact, in October, they're going to put, something in the newsletter for the, business rep vacancy on the committee. So thank you for that, Paul. The next one, Bill, you said you were gonna check back with this previous subcommittee or some of the people in it. I don't know if you're ready to report on that yet.
Yeah, no, it's fine. They have an individual who's recently been retired, so I'm hopeful that, perhaps even like Ben, there could be some volunteerism with some of that, going forward, so.
So we'll
I'm
leave
not
that open and.
Yeah,
It seems like for something like this, we need something specific that we want
I
them
know,
to
I don't know how you just
rally
keep,
around.
right, exactly.
Anything else you should share? Does anybody have anything
No.
else on this list? Because that's really all I had. Okay. The next action item is just the quick status updates around the room. So, the first one was the tower clock.
I'll leave that to Christine.
Yeah, so we have a set date right now for October 27th is the set date for the install. So leading up to that, we do have some work to do this week. We're going to put together the plan showing where the clock will go based on our latest discussions. Also, that will show the the area of the brickwork. I think we talked about, we want to have more a minor area of brickwork for now. We could always expand upon it. So that that layout will be this week. We're finishing. We do have the national grid permit, but we're just waiting on the state permit right now. We should have that by the end of this week. So potentially digging for the electrical service next week or the week after in the curbing, but all aligning with 10/27 as the clock install date.
Christine, I have one question. What should we do about the bricks themselves? I did get a brick sample from the company where the bricks are being printed. They all need 6 to 8 weeks, so the bricks won't be there that are engraved, but we can put in other bricks. And the plaques, I think as you saw, are probably another 6 to 8 weeks. So those won't be there to put in. They'll have to do that afterwards as well.
Yeah. What we maybe want to do then is, I guess, what if we just did like a small band, or even if we just, I guess I'm gonna go over the footing with Joe, and maybe we just leave the bricks out for now, around the pad, and then you install them later. I hate to install bricks and then put another one, so we can just leave it. Either put some bricks and then we can expand upon it with the donated bricks, or we put maybe just having a large concrete pad. Well, I don't want it to be too high though. I have to look at that. But I guess because how many you have 25 bricks, I think, right?
Yeah, just call it 30 because I'll
30.
order a handful
Yeah,
myself.
so it may make sense to do if we do a offset of a couple feet from the base, put in some bricks, and then we can always make basically, I think once they're in, and whether it be this fall or spring, you would put them in. I hate to install some to rip out and put new ones in. That would be
So
my opinion.
Yeah, my question was gonna be, do you put bricks in if it's October 27th, and let's just say it's 2 weeks after that because they won't come in until then? Do you put bricks in when you're getting into the November timeframe, or is it safer to wait until this spring. I'm a,
Yeah, it depends on the weather. Like right now, yes, the way the weather is, but if once we hit like 30s and we might not. So I'll talk to Tony and Joe. I guess right as of right now, looking at the month outlook, yes, if it changes, then we might not want to install bricks. But we've installed bricks into October, November. You just need to have favorable conditions really during the day.
okay.
And not extremely cold temperatures at night. So if that's happening, so we'll see. But what we're gonna do is we'll lay out what we're doing this week is kind of laying out what that initial amount of bricks are. So let's say it's like 100 bricks, and so maybe we install some of them now and hold off, or maybe we do install yours 2 weeks after, depending on the weather.
Do you want me to drop off the sample brick that they sent, or do you want me to order extra bricks from them?
So you got the brick layout from Joe, didn't you? Or didn't you say the brick manufacturer from Joe?
Joe did drop off a brick that you guys have used, yes.
Yeah, so if that's the brick, then that's the one we use.
Okay, they're gonna come differently though, right? Because the company's going to engrave them and send out a different brick.
Yes, sorry, I meant like the other. So offsetting from your 30 bricks, we would have the same type of brick for the other bricks.
Okay, I'll
Right.
bring them by so you guys can see. They're pretty close.
Okay, yeah,
They're
we'll
not exact, but they're pretty
You'll
close.
finish that up offline.
yeah, we'll finish it. I think so we'll get the plan this week. I'll send it out, and we can maybe have a quick. It doesn't even have to be a site visit. We'll figure it out. But 10/27 is the install date.
Okay. Christine or Evan, any update on signage?
So we did, DPW did make some adjustments, particularly to the location. I think, well, they made some adjustments following our meeting. And then when I was in the area, I did see this signage over kind of closer towards the North Water I made some suggestions. So I think it was actually end of last week, we made some adjustments to to that sign. So I think we're all set. I can go around again and look at all locations next time I'm out there, but I believe we've made adjustments accordingly.
Okay. And with respect to the National Library symbol sign, I didn't really see that on the website of the sign company you use, and that's where I saw something that said you might have to go through the state to get one of those, so I don't know if I'm just reading it wrong.
Yeah,
but-
we're coordinating that. There was some emails going back and forth between Leslie Kimball and
Okay.
our highway. I don't know where we left off on it today, but we are making sure that we get the right sign in coordination with the library.
Okay. The next thing is the Freeman Lake NOI.
So we're still in the appeal process for that appeal for the overall treatment recommendation, and we so we're waiting to hear back from DEP. So everything's in a holding pattern for that. We are going out and surveying the lake. That was really one of the requirements following the order of conditions from the first NOI, which is the eco harvester. So I guess we're on hold right now until we hear from DEP.
Okay. There isn't really anything on Barney Park or the beach at this time, right?
Not at the moment, no.
And then we already covered the two Mass DOT projects. Anything else with local traffic or construction, Christine?
So we did finish the project along Middlesex Street, the bridge right in front of Brick House. And then also National Grid was working in the area. I know there were some outages in the area, planned outages, I think I know the mill building, Dini, had an outage on a Saturday. And I know construction, and I live in the area too. But I think and there was coordination with some of the, detours. We did get a couple complaints, but it was more just, I think, because National Grid was doing some service work, but that really has, I think that my understanding is that's been complete. And so the project is complete, and also all that related gas work has been complete as well.
Okay. I left a placeholder here for Station 2 landscaping. I wasn't sure if there was anything gonna be done this fall or if that's more of a springtime.
I haven't advanced it. At this point, we probably want to just look to the spring. I do have it on my list to plan. I actually was at Fire Station 2 today talking about the other two fire stations. You can do fall plantings. You could also do spring plantings. We just haven't advanced it. So I think just with all that's going on, we probably would flag it for a spring time.
Okay. Paul, do you have anything on Ledge Road you can update us on?
Yeah, tomorrow is a status conference on the litigation at the land court. The dispute right now is that Newport is trying to move for summary judgment. The town opposes that effort because we don't believe that we agree on the facts. The reason that we think that Newport wants summary judgment is they don't want to open their books.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of briefs have been filed, so I should know a little bit more tomorrow. But it's a process, I guess, the best way to describe a lengthy process, and right now it's advancing as reasonable can be expected in the land court. So again, I should have more of an update after tomorrow, but that's.
Do you expect tomorrow's where they'll try to make a decision whether or not they'll do a summary judgment?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what happens is the parties file briefs, and some of them are joint briefs, and many of the facts that we all agree upon. But there are some that obviously the zoning and some of the other issues that we don't. So what I expect will happen is if what may happen after this, if as expected, summary judgment isn't agreed to, that's when you'll start the deposition and discovery process.
Right.
And that'll take some time. And that'll usually is very extensive, you can imagine.
Will the judge render that decision that?
I don't know.
I don't think he-
know when
I mean-
they'll act. Yeah, we don't know when they'll
I
act.
can't see him granting a summary judgment, but,
Right, but I would be surprised, but yes, we don't know when he'll act on the,
I'm sure he'll
status
take
conference.
all the facts into consideration.
I hope so. Two pieces for me. One, unfortunately, Val, who's been leading the efforts, right, he's gonna have to step back a little bit. You could try and find someone that can really kind of continue to move that forward with you. And then two, I did get a call from a resident who believes that the word that was used was laundering, rock laundering. Are they laundering stones through grades themselves? The belief was that Newport has gotten into some sort of, whether it's written or not, I have no idea, but an agreement with Graves to start bringing some of the stone out in the Graves trucks. It's Newport related. That's what I got.
Creative.
It could, yeah, it wouldn't surprise.
Plausible.
It wouldn't surprise me, yeah. It may not be probable, might not be, it wouldn't be remote, might be possible though.
Okay.
So I don't know if,
Ring cameras don't lie.
Thanks for that.
yeah.
Nothing new on the boat ramp or anything, Paul, it's still in the process?
No, well,
Yes,
the
there
latest,
is,
it
come on.
was moving today, actually.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I
Actually,
shouldn't assume.
the process, I mean, let me just tell you how quick.
It's been a process, but today is a
There's been
good
a process
benchmark.
today, so it started out this morning, basically, advancing the license, and the good news is the draft license has been issued for the project. So again, we're hopeful that Fish and Game will move with procurement and their big concern, I think, in addition to the funding and then procurement, is you gotta schedule the work during the best season, the dry season, because you gotta put the retaining walls and so forth.
This would have been a good season.
Yeah, this would have been a great season.
Sure would have.
So certainly that's something you do in the spring.
Right.
Because the river's usually higher in the spring. Many of you tell you what you already know. When you have flooding, it's usually in the spring because the snow melts, the spring rainy season. So it's more likely that it'd be the summer or fall that you would
Right.
actually see the work taking place out there.
Okay.
So
So I'll be out on the
environmental
commission,
license from DEP.
even commissioner tomorrow, continue to express our interest in that
Yeah, I
project.
mean, that's very important. Getting that license was critical.
You know, since day one when we started, they committed that it was important, particularly there's only 2 ramps in this general region. And that one, and that just puts so much more pressure on the one on the other across the bridge, which is manageable, but I guess moving forward, how we're gonna, how will the town sort of enforce? It's really just, it's still just gonna be a kayak canoe launch.
You won't be able to
You'll be able
do,
to drive and launch trailers,
Okay.
trailers,
it always was that way.
yeah.
Well, that's what it wasn't supposed to be, that's how the
Yeah.
map ended up like it was.
Oh,
So,
really, that's what.
Oh, yeah, no, it was a kayak and canoe launch.
Because normally they pave it versus put that.
Are they designing it to be only a kayak and canoe launch?
Look at the
The
permit.
permit, what is the
What's on the
permit, the
license?
license, the permit say?
We can look into it. I'll take it.
Christine, have you heard that there was only going to be for kayaks and canoes? Because you wouldn't.
No,
No, you
yeah.
wouldn't much of an improvement if that was
but
the
it had
case.
to do emergency vehicles
Yeah.
and stuff.
Right. I guess also I know originally a lot of people that were complaining about the closest boat ramp was the one in Lowell. And the complaint was coming from people launching boats. And so it never came up during that process either, saying, well, because I think at the time the response was, and even from the state, was that they're designing it, but I guess they would never said they were assuming that they're designing that replacement.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a 15-foot wide by 48-foot long concrete boat ramp and wash pad. But you wouldn't be doing that for canoes and kayaks. I hope,
Okay, so we've already done the parking lot lease. Anything more on the Verizon cell tower, Paul?
No, Verizon keeps changing their, I think I'm on the 3rd rep now. So we're still trying to get some kind of a simulation or balloon test or something out there to figure out the cell tower proposal consideration.
And then is anybody involved with Brian on the holiday tree lighting?
Not formally, but I'm always gonna help.
I guess I do want to check in with him because usually sometimes we have to purchase lights and because so squirrels eat them or they get damaged. Going back the past 2 years, we did purchase lights for them. I know it is partially paid by the group and also then supplemented by the DPW. The thing is that sometimes we got to put in an order usually now because it can take 6 to 8 weeks to receive these lights. So I just wanted to check in to see if there's any inventory replacement needed. We bought them the past 2 years, so I'm hoping we don't, but it's just a question that we'll probably be making a purchase the next week or two.
Okay, so there's that, and I guess the other thing, I'll follow up with him, if he wants to start publicizing this like he usually does. I mean, our next meeting isn't till November 10th, so we'll need to check the select board schedule for the PSAs in November. And, somebody usually makes some kind of a flyer that Joe used to put out on the Facebook page, so I just wanna make sure that doesn't drop. Cause I think Joe used to make the flyer. Paul, what are the November select board?
November 6th and the 20th. I know we do share the dates, right? It's the first Monday in November and
The 3rd.
November 3rd and the 17th.
November 3rd, okay, so I will,
6th and 20th.
I'll send him a note, I'll copy you.
It's Christmas already.
Okay, and the only other thing, I have one update under other, Nancy McConney from the McKay Library, who was here when we did the strategic input session with them, sent me an update from McKay, and she also may start attending some of our meetings, which I thought was great. But she wanted to convey that they're having a movie night out on the lawn on October 1st with the Wizard of Oz at 6:30. And if you haven't noticed, the parking lot is newly repaved. And there's painted arrows now directing the traffic flow. They have a new book drop on order to replace the damaged one. Apparently somebody backed into the other one. And she felt the summer concert series went well, they had good attendance, and they did have to move indoors twice for rain, but it still went off okay. And then the if you recall, when she and Leslie Kimball were here, they also talked about the 24/7 pickup lockers that they had installed. And she said that those are seeing more regular use now, that people know about them. So I think that's really great too. Does anybody have any other updates that I haven't hit?
I got 3 quick updates.
Laura just came off mute.
Yeah, I actually have, I guess, public input, I guess I would call it. I just want to let the committee know, and we've got the information starting to go out to the public, that we'll be holding the annual Halloween parade and party. It's scheduled for Saturday, October 25th, starting at 2:30 at the North Chelmsford Fire Station parking lot. So all that planning is in the works. I have to reach out and make sure it's okay with police and fire department. I'll be doing that this week, but we've got the signs up in the neighborhood and it will be going on Facebook. So I hope everyone can be there. If anyone wants to volunteer to help, we'd love to have you.
And if you want us to put it on the North Village Facebook page, Laura, just.
Once we can do that, once we have the flyer, we'll get it up on our Facebook and I can send you the flyer. Who has access to that now? Would it be, should I just reach out to Joe?
Bill and I have access.
You do?
Bill's
Okay.
access, yeah.
I might too. I think I used to
I
have it.
think we added you, Laura, last time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm on it too, so I can probably put it on there too.
Just try it and then.
Okay,
Yeah, if you
we'll
can,
get it
let us
out there.
know.
We'll put it on this one too. Yep.
Okay.
The only other update I have is Main Street. I guess it's not too much of an update, but we will be receiving a report soon just on the recommendations for the traffic calming along Main Street. This, I believe it's coming in October, so we might have some information for November. If not November, definitely December.
Okay. And then Laura Lynn, do you have anything while we're going around the room?
I do not, but thanks for asking.
Okay. Evan?
Okay, 3 quick items. 255 Princeton Street completed their phase 2 occupancy. So phase 3 will be likely October, November. That's the last building, 150 units in the amenity building. If you haven't been up there, I encourage you to go up. You can drive through or walk through. It's they've done a nice job. The landscaping's in place. Most of the all the perimeter sidewalks are in place. So it's very accessible at this point. Second item is 91 Tingsboro Road appeared before the planning board for a conceptual presentation. That's the last property on the right before Wellman Ave. It's occupied by a local, I think, HVAC company.
Yep.
They're looking to expand by putting a second building on the property. And the last item is 17 Vinyl Square, which I believe is Benito's, is closing, and a new restaurant, I just don't know what kind, is moving in. Do you happen to know?
No.
Maybe
Hopefully
Italian?
another
Is it a
pizza
good one?
place.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything about it, but you guys must have known. Was that already a known?
I didn't know.
I didn't.
Do you know?
Benito's had been there a while, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yes, many years.
Okay.
There's been a few different owners, but it's been there many years, yeah.
You didn't give an update on the liquor store.
I was waiting for that.
Oh, the liquor store.
Come on, Evan.
Overlooked that.
The largest liquor store east of Mississippi. So they've been in front of the planning board for a modification, asking the board to approve their third floor. If you've driven by that third floor, it's essentially it's not a full third floor, but it's a partial floor associated with a rooftop elevator shaft opening up into a what they're referring to as an event space. That was not originally approved as part of the planning board approval. Simultaneously, I believe they're contemplating applying for a modification to the ABCC license to the select board. I don't know if that process has begun yet. So the next step of planning board is the attorneys and engineers presented. The board wanted to hear directly from the property owner and contractor. So we're waiting for those representatives to make an appearance in front of the planning board.
Assume the change in that license is not just to sell, but to probably distribute if they're gonna do events and things like that.
It's not very clear at the planning board level. It's really a select board, more of a select board issue as to how that event space is gonna be
Yeah,
programmed to use.
You can't have a liquor license to sell package store and also a pouring license. The law doesn't allow that. And so the only thing you would see a liquor store is wine tasting. But that's very limited. You can't, so in other words, they can't use this as like a different venue because the state ABCC requires a separate entrance, separate everything. We don't, it just seems like a heck of an investment for what they might be contemplating. We don't know.
Building looks good.
Building looks good, but,
It's huge.
So Paul, while we're there, do you have anything else you wanna add?
Yeah, the only thing I can tell you is not public, but there will be, we're seeing, I don't know how we can say this, without public.
Not even sure what you're referring to.
The courier site at Wellman at 15 Wellman Avenue. It looks like that a tenant will be moving in, which should be great news for the building and North Chelmsford. And so we've been sort of giving a heads up. I've given a quote, but I haven't been able to release it. I even released it to the select board because the company has asked,
Understood.
yeah, but it's,
You said 15 Wellman?
15 Wellman, yeah. For, so it's a.
Good tenant.
It's a good tenant.
Actually, property.
Yeah, we're not talking, I don't think it's not like.
It's not an Amazon
It's not
warehouse.
Amazon warehouse, no, exactly.
That's the only thing I would
It's
say.
a warehouse or a commercial thing, I mean, I wouldn't be saying this, I'd be more, but no, it looks like it's, they found a good tenant, and this has been going on since March. So this has been a prolonged effort, and that's why I'm being so, I'm just like, I wouldn't be so concerned if I wasn't so excited at what I think the reaction's gonna be. It's like, oh, this is great.
Good.
So, it's good news.
Bill, do you have anything else?
I don't.
Paul, is there any more information on that earmark, for Freeman Lake? Just been put on hold, or are you waiting like we are?
Well, Christine talked about it earlier, this is for the improvements to the water quality.
Right.
That's kind of, it's now in this permitting issue with the,
The appeal.
the appeal of the invasives and the.
Did the town get the money?
Well,
earmark?
yeah, they
Oh,
released
the
it.
earmark
Yeah.
did come in.
Yeah.
I know there was some email threads
Yeah,
about
because they held
holding
it
it
for
for
3
now.
months, but now they're saying you can move.
Good.
So that's great news.
That's
The problem is the appeal is sort of clogging up the water.
My job is done.
Yeah, no, your job's great, and it's very, very
Oh, good
appreciated,
stuff.
very welcome.
Okay, do we have any more public comment? Dave? Thank you again for coming.
Appreciate it.
So the two things I have on future agenda topics are the timeline we talked about and the beautification planter options for later in the year. Anybody else? I haven't seen any other future topics come up today. Our next meeting is November 10th, and at 8:37 p.m. I will welcome you.
Motion to adjourn.
Oops. I second.
Yay,
Sorry.
everybody's an aye. Thanks, everybody.